Hey guys, welcome to Battle with Terrible. So today we're gonna go right into gameplay with our Dudunsparce Reversal Energy combo. So the Dunsparce is a stage 1 Pokemon with the sudden dig flash attack doing 100 damage for 4 colorless, and it allows you to shuffle it. It shuffled itself and all attached cards back into the deck, and that means you get to loop the Pokemon. You get to loop the Paralysis effect. So it's kind of like a paralyzed loop deck. And you actually have to wait for a knockout before you're able to play your reversal energy. And since we are not doing a knockout with our sudden dig flash, the Dunsparce is not doing a knockout, is doing only 100 base damage. For 4 color, this is quite terrible, but we have our Cherrim to attach the energy and also 1 Raihan for security, and we get to loop the Paralysis over and over. Eventually, they got no switch, and we actually get to play our Luxray at the last minute to basically collect the knockout. So Luxray has an attack and ability, so it has an ability that allows you to bench it, put it directly onto your bench as a stage 2 card. If you have more prize cards remaining than your opponent, and if you have more prize cards remaining as well, you get to play reversal energy onto your Luxray to do 180 damage instantly right after benching that Pokemon. So we actually get to do a V-Star knockout with Sudden Dig Flash and also our Luxray immediately after paralyzing them on the last turn. We get to do 180 to basically knock out a V-Star, which is quite crazy. We also have 1 Rod to shuffle back our Luxray, so it's actually quite a fun deck to play just because you get to paralyze them over and over and eventually kill them as well. And even if you don't get to draw all of your prize cards for the win, we actually get to deny them the attack. We get to stop them from attacking every single turn and eventually play for a control strategy and win the game by decking them out. So just because we get to keep shuffling back our active Pokemon, we get to keep shuffling our Dudunsparce into the deck, we are never going to deck out, and all we need to do is just stall until they run out of their switch cards. If they don't have any more switches, if they choose not to evolve their Pokemon and then evolve it on the next turn though, they got an extra turn to attack just because evolving removes the paralysis condition. But if they run out of their switch cards after that, then we actually get to trap them in the active over and over with a paralysis loop. So obviously the trick about the Dunsparce is that how do you keep on evolving it and get enough energies to attack over and over non-stop every single turn? It's actually quite difficult just because it requires 4 energy. You need to keep digging back for your reversal. If you have the same number of prize cards or less prize cards than your opponent after doing the knockout with your Sun Dig Flash, because eventually we're going to do a knockout because it's actually doing 100 base damage as well. So consistent damage actually means we are forced to do a knockout at some point. And even if we don't play the Luxray, even if we choose not to play the Luxray, eventually we're doing a knockout with the Dunsparce, and we may have, at some point in the game, the same number of prize as our opponent, and that would mean we can't play the reversal anymore. We would actually need to dig for more grass and a double turbo. That's the reason we have the double turbo and Raihan. They basically serve as a failsafe just in case we don't get to use our reversal as the triple rainbow. So if you don't have more prize cards remaining than your opponent, reversal only serves as 1 colorless. Anyways, getting back into the game, we got our Cherubi on the bench, Mimikyu in the active, walling until we get the right cards. Let's hope they don't get the boss. If they do a boss for their first knockout, if they're smart, they would do that. That would mean we would need a couple turns more after that just to rebench our second Dunsparce. So that's the reason I play so many VIP Pass, is because we need not just the Bibarel, Cherrim, we also need 2 Dunsparce early just to prepare for the boss knockout, and also the Mimikyu. We also need a Mimikyu or Klefki, something else to basically serve as the sacrificial lamb in the active, or to wall off until they do the boss. So Klefki allows you to lock them from using basic abilities. Really good against Lost Box, really good against any decks that use, Radiant Greninja, Mew, Celebrations Mew, Squawkabilly EX as well. It locks them from using those abilities. And that would actually buy you some time until you get your evolutions, because we not only need to evolve the Bibarel and Cherrim, we also need to evolve the Dunsparce. And we need to evolve it constantly, right? We need to keep evolving it over and over, and at some point we're going to run out of our Ultra Balls. But the good thing is we are thinning the deck over, as we keep using the attack. Eventually we're thinning out the deck until we have nothing but the Dunsparce and energies to draw with our Bibarel. We obviously have a lot of supporter cards as well. We got 4 Brunos, 2 Iono, 1 Serena to help us draw cards, and also 1 Raihan for the free search. So I feel like we're solid for this deck. It's honestly not a very strong deck though. If you guys want to go for wins, don't play this deck. This is just a fun meme deck. It's not for you to get good wins. It's just a funny sort of control deck that you get to toy around with, potentially getting lucky wins with your Dudunsparce. Just because that card is honestly not a good card right now. It's only doing 100 base, and if you focus on the Dunsparce, you kind of are screwed. And we have our Luxray for this deck, but that's it. We have our Mimikyu and Klefki to wall as well. But I feel like we need some other attackers, just because, if we can't evolve the Dunsparce, if we don't get our Luxray at the right time, we need some other fail-safe strategy. But I can't find, what other attackers to add into the deck. Maybe a basic grass or a Regidrago, to help you do some knockouts, get some prizes. If you get, if you draw prizes constantly though, that's the problem with the reversal. Reversal doesn't allow you to play it unless if you have more prize cards remaining. So it's actually perfect for a control deck, but if the moment you do a knockout, that's going to set you back. How are you going to be able to play the reversal if you have, the same prize cards or even less prize cards remaining? How are you going to win the game by drawing your prizes? That's the tricky part. Okay, they got their first prize, and they actually didn't do a boss, which is great. They knocked out the Klefki. Now we actually get to play our reversal. Are we gonna get it though? Let's just discard the Beach Court, because I'm pretty sure they're playing Beach Court for Miraidon as well. Let's hope. If they have some other stadium, we would lose our switch, our free switch with Mimikyu Klefki, because Mimikyu Klefki have exactly 1 colorless for retreat. And that means we get to retreat for free using our Beach Court every single turn if they don't play any other stadium. Or the Worker. They could actually have Worker in their hand as well and deny us the switch option. So now we're going to draw with Bibarel, evolve, and dig for the reversal. Oh, do we already have it? We have it in the active already. We got 2 reversal attached to it. Or was that a double turbo? If we have a double turbo, we're only doing 80 damage. But, well, they have a Radiant Serena in play. So even if we do 100, it would be the same thing, because they are recovering damage from it as well. We either need our Defiance Band or the Luxray. And we are only playing 1 copy of Defiance Band. I'm not sure if we have the Defiance Band anymore, actually, because we need to go for consistency. And Defiance Band is actually reducing the number of supporter cards we get to play, the number of item cards we get to play by 1. So just to make sure we get to sustain the paralyzed loop, which is way more important than doing knockouts, we actually decided to remove Defiance Band for extra consistency. Because if you do a knockout, you're gonna have to wait for the price counter anyways until you get to play a reversal for Luxray to do big damage. So it's kind of the same thing. Might as well just delay the game until they get, until they run out their switch cards, until they drew way too many cards from the deck and eventually realize that they're gonna deck out. We have Iono for standard right now though, which actually allows them to, put cards back into the deck and basically stall the game, delay the game by giving them extra few turns, a lot more turns until they get the right cards into their hand. So Iono is actually going to buy them a lot of turns, but if they buy too much turns though, we're going to extra knockout with our sudden dig flash, doing 100 consistent damage over and over, and paralyzing them every single turn. How crazy is that? Constant paralysis. Only if you get to evolve and attach enough energies every single turn though. Eventually we're going to run out of our Lotto as well. So without Energy Loto, we can't dig for the reversal. We can't dig for our double turbo. We may not have enough energy to attach onto the Dunsparce after evolving it. And that could be a problem at the late stage of the game when we run out of our supporter cards, when we no longer have any way to get the right cards but the Bibarel. And that's why we actually need to be thinking about benching the second one. If we can bench the second Bibarel, that would be great. We got Heavy Ball to dig for the second Bidoof from the prize. And we got 3 copies of the Bibarel, helping us draw a lot more cards. if we have to Bibarel in play on the bench, we actually get to draw a lot more cards as helping us dig for not just the evolution but also the energies. So obviously Cherrim helps us empty our hand by playing all the energy onto the Dunsparce before evolving it, and that gives us a bigger draw with Bibarel. If we get the evolution first, we get to play it as well, so it's kind of the same thing. Knocking out the Cherrim, I feel like, would be the best move for our opponent. If they kill our Cherrim, we got one Rod to shuffle it back, and one Raihan, as we said. So make sure you save the Rod for the right time, because we only are playing one copy. You may need it for Klefki if they play like a full basic deck like Lunatone Solrock. It can buy you a lot of time until you get your enough energies and the evolution for you to knock them out with 100 damage consistently. So against a one price deck like Lunatone Solrock, we need to be thinking about doing knockouts as well. And we got one double turbo, a lot of grass energy for us to attach from our hand. If we can do one or two knockouts without the reversal, that would actually be enough for us to win the game, because we have to play at the right time though. So if we can, empty the deck, basically thin out the deck until we have nothing but grass and reversals in there without the Dunsparce, then eventually we get to knock them out at the last minute with 4 grass energy after having, for example, 1 prize remaining and our opponent having like 1 or 2 prize remaining. So obviously Klefki is quite easy to get past the ability if they have enough boss, enough escape ropes in their deck. But I feel like many decks right now don't actually play that many copies. They have a lot of boss to deal with Tinglu, because Tinglu EX is a big thing right now. And if they have it in the active spot, your opponent can actually lock you from playing any of your Pokemon with abilities. You can't actually use your abilities at all if you have any damage counters on those Pokemon with Tinglu in their active spot. So boss is actually essential for now. The current meta forces you to play multiple copies in the same deck for any deck. We also gotta watch out for Avery as well, just because we need not just Cherrim and Bibarel on the bench for support, we also need our second Dunsparce and another Mimikyu or Klefki on the bench just in case they play an escape rope. So escape rope is gonna actually force you to put forth either your Dunsparce, Cherrim, or Bibarel as the sacrifice for as a sacrifice knockout. If they use that card to basically remove the paralysis condition and also get past the Mimikyu's ability. So Mimikyu has the safeguard ability. If you guys are not familiar with this card, it has an ability that allows you to deny your opponent from doing any damage onto it by their Pokemon EX or Pokemon V. So there are actually a lot of ways to get past the Mimikyu though, and that's why we have 2 copies of it in the deck. If they play escape rope, we get to put forth the other one. Mimikyu is actually way better than Klefki because it helps us stall for way more turns. Most decks play a lot of EX or V attackers right now, and if they get stuck, they're gonna have to charge up their 1 price supports like Flaffy to be able to deal with the Mimikyu. If they play Duraludon VMAX, Mew VMAX, or canceling Cologne though, they can easily get past the ability without having to play their 1 price attackers. G-Max Pulverization, Max Miracle. There are a lot of ways to get past it. It's not perfect. If they play Miraidon though, as we see right now, they would get stuck. They would be forced to charge up their Flaffy to attack. Okay. So we got our Dudunsparce and reversal. I'm not sure if we are gonna get the switch though. Oh, we got the Beach Court. We have the Beach Court already. But a Bibarel, okay, we have the Bibarel in the active. So let's just play Tail Smash. Might as well just do Tail Smash, right? We are flipping a coin. If we get a Tails, we're not doing any damage at all with our Bibarel. But we at least get to buy time for us to retreat on the next turn with our reversal and possibly dig for the other one for us to play our sudden dig flash, retreating or switching, well, swapping out into our Mimikyu because it is a hit and run attack of sorts. You are shuffling it back into the deck with all attached cards while affecting them with a special condition, much like the old Rapid Strike Mienshao that does a confusion effect instead. But obviously Mienshao is a lot more consistent because you get to play auxiliary to search for not just the evolution, you get to search for the energy as well. If you get Ultra Ball if you get a Level Ball in your hand, you get to evolve your Mienshao. If you have Level Ball in your hand for Dunsparce, you're not actually allowed to evolve it by searching for the Dunsparce, because it is actually not just 4 colorless attack costs, it is also 140 HP for the stage 1, and it's a lot more difficult to dig for the energy and also the evolution. But Paralysis is obviously a bigger effect though, just because they could actually flip a heads if you confuse them and they choose to flip the coin. They could get the heads and still do damage to your Pokemon, and you're only doing 90 damage at a time with your Mienshao as well, but we can't play double turbo for it. We're not doing double turbo, and that means we're not doing less damage with it regardless. So if we play double turbo for our Dunsparce, if we don't get to use our reversal at some point in the game, eventually we get the knockout. If we do a knockout with our Luxray, on the next turn, we're not actually allowed to play reversal for the triple rainbow anymore. And if we have reversal attached to our Dunsparce on the next turn, we are only satisfying 1 extra colorless. So are we going to be able to dig for the double turbo or the other 3 grass energy into our hand in addition to the reversal? I'm not so sure. We only have 3 reversal now, so a lot of grass energy in the deck, 2 Energy Loto. If we get the Energy Loto, we can dig for the grass and attach more with our Cherrim, but eventually we're going to run out of our Energy Loto, as we keep saying. But let's hope let's hope we can survive that. The Dunsparce is not a good card right now. It's just not really performing that well. If you don't have a primary attacker, it's kind of like a support attacker though. You don't really get to focus on the Dunsparce as the theme attacking, as the theme strategy of the deck. You can't really focus on the attack. It's almost like a supporting attack. I feel like you need some other primary attacker, or maybe, the Pokemon Go Snorlax to go for a more solid control strategy in addition to relying on it for the Paralysis. Because we're going to have to prepare for the moment when we get stuck, not being able to play the Sudden Dig Flash for 100 damage. Okay, here comes Spring Bloom, and we actually got 4 grass on the Dunsparce inactive. Without relying on our reversal, we got 100 damage in the game. Walling off with Mimikyu again, over and over. So this is a very, very long game. Playing any control deck, you are basically dragging the game out, stretching the game as far as you can until your opponent run out of their resources. So if they have no more resources to get past your trap or disruption, you just need to wait it out until they have no cards left in their deck within the game by having more cards and more turns. So we actually do have unlimited turns just because we are shuffling back the Dunsparce and all attached cards back into the deck each time we use the attack, which is kind of insane. It's almost like the team yells cheer Silene loop, which is pretty fun. And now they're actually getting stuck against the Mimikyu. Okay. They need the Flaffy. Why are they charging up the Raichu? They should be charging up the Flaffy. They probably are going to play a boss right now. I mean, Miraidons play so many bosses. Meta decks have so many boss. And if they get it on their first turn for the Dunsparce knockout on your bench, that's actually really, really annoying. Or even, they could even choose to knock out your Bidoof or Cherubi, which is actually going to set you back by 1 turn. If you have already a grass energy attached though onto your Dunsparce on the bench, you just need to dig for the reversal and the evolution, and that actually secures you your first Sun Dig Flash as you bench the Cherubi to basically, revive the Cherrim on your next turn. We also have the Raihan, which I've mentioned for about 30 times now, but you get a point. Okay, Ultra Ball for the Dunsparce. But we're actually doing a knockout right now. If we can just get our reversal onto the Luxray, we're doing 180 damage and forcing them to knock it out. If they don't deal with the Luxray, if they do a boss on the Dunsparce, we can actually play our while charged for another big hit before collecting the knockout on their V, on their Raichu V or Raikou, using our next the Dunsparce. We also have our second Luxray on the bench, ready to go. So we're actually playing 2 copies of the Stage 2 Luxray for this deck. Eventually I dropped it down to 1 copy, just to add more balls and the rod as well. If we have the rod, I don't think we need to be playing 2 copies. So I think I'm just gonna end the voice right here because focus on the game. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. So we're featuring our Dudunsparce with reversal energy combo using Sudden Dig Flash for a paralysis loop. While doing 100 consistent damage, we get to shuffle back our Dudunsparce and all attached cards into the deck, basically allowing us to loop the attack over and over using our Cherrim for the extra energy. We also have a Raihan for the security, and also our Mimikyu to wall off in the active with Klefki as well. After doing the hit and run with our Dunsparce, we get to put forth our Mimikyu or Klefki in the active to lock their ability, their basic ability, or to prevent them from doing any damage done by their Pokemon EX or Pokemon V onto our Mimikyu. And we also have our Luxray to basically finish off the game by doing 180 damage. If we have more prize cards than our opponent, we get to do knockouts with our Luxray, but eventually we need to be thinking about attaching more grass onto our Dudunsparce to be able to satisfy the attack cost for the next turn, just because reversal is not going to be able to work if we have the same number of prizes. If we are drawing prize cards, we need to be thinking about getting the grass, and that's why we only are playing 3 copies in this deck with our double turbo, helping us charge up our Dudunsparce for big damage while also paralyzing them over and over every single turn. So that's all for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you next time. Have a great day and bye from the people. Enjoy life. you.